What's up, gamers and collectors? DGC back with another video on the original Xbox exclusive set. I bet y'all never thought this day was gonna come. It's finally time to refinish this list. It's been quite a while, guys. I do apologize about that. As of the day of recording this is Thanksgiving 2019. Let's jump into this list. Alright, so first up, this is my original Xbox here. My actual original Xbox. I got the Halo Special Edition sometime within the first couple weeks that it came out. These, they're not rare, but they're definitely not common. You know, probably every game store, local game store you've got probably has at least one versus like the 20 to 40 black ones that they have. So they're definitely not super rare, but they're not super common. But either way, this was my introduction into the Xbox family. I saved up the money for this, and with paper route money. So this was, when did this come out? I want to say it was maybe 02 or 03. I don't know. So I would have been 12, 11, or 13, somewhere in that time frame. Saved up the money for that, and I got this and a Duke, and that's all I had all summer. Pretty sure it came out in the summer or the spring. And I was good with it. Halo was that good of a game back in the day that I was good with that. Just Halo for my console. It's the only reason I bought the console originally, and then I found out that it had all these amazing exclusives, which we're going to go over some of them today. Being that we're talking about Halo, that's where we start on this list today. Here's my original copy. This is the not for resale copy that comes with this. What can I say about this, and keep it brief, because if you haven't played Halo by now, what are you doing with your life? But such an amazing experience. Truly top 5 of all time games for me, the original. This is still the best one out of the series. There's really not a whole lot that I need to say about this, so we're just going to keep the train rolling. This is the not for resale copy that came with it. The one that I enjoy the most, though, is the holographic variant. Just look at Chief with the holographic. Hopefully that comes up on camera pretty well. But for me, that just looks amazing. I didn't know that this, I knew there was a not for resale copy, and I knew there was the, the greatest hits copy, and then the just the regular copy. But I never knew this was a thing until, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And then I found out through a Twitter account that's no longer in existence. It was dedicated to original Xbox stuff. There's like 7 or 8, maybe even 9 different variants of Halo for the original Xbox. I have 3 of them. We're about to talk about the second one here. Well, the third one, really, rather. So, you've got the original, then you've got the shiny one, then you've got the not for resale, then you've got the greatest hits one, then you have one that I almost bought, which is called, I forget what it's called, but it's in a platinum case, but then on the top it has red letters for whatever it was. I remember seeing them in a Best Buy, my Best Buy, long into the 360's lifespan. So it was like truly the last release game for the Xbox was, again, Halo, which was the first game too, so kind of funny to think about. Now right here, this is a Halo triple pack. To my knowledge, this is one of the more rare things to get for the original Xbox exclusive set. Now the reason I would include this into the set, because obviously it has Halo 1, Halo 2, and then it also has the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack on a disc. So for any of you youngsters, this is DLC on a disc. That's kind of how it was back in the day. You would get DLC on discs or demo discs. This is still sealed. I'm never going to open this. There are very few games that I don't open, and this is really a cherished memories of my childhood from these 2 games. I just really spent an enormous amount of time playing both of these, either in split screen co-op or LANing or Xbox Live when that finally came out. Man, was that a game changer. And I just absolutely love the Halo franchise, and not a whole lot needs to be said about that, so we'll keep it rolling here. Now next up we have the only version of Halo 2 that I have. You have this version, and then you have the normal version, and I think that's it for Halo 2. I pre-ordered this, and then I picked it up, and it was amazing. Just getting onto Xbox Live and really playing it. My first experience with Xbox Live was either Crimson Sky or Mech Assault, and then later on it was Halo 2. And I just, oh, she's dusty. Gotta show her some love here soon. But you know, to my knowledge, this was the first Steelbook, or one of the first Steelbooks that I remember. It was definitely the first one I ever got. And it's riddled. They all have this problem. It's riddled with the rust issue. There's little speckles of rust on here. But you know, for a long time I kind of hated it, but it kind of gives it like a battle-torn look to it. You know, like I like to think that they did it on purpose, even though I know they totally didn't. They just didn't perfect Steelbook cases at that point in time. However, this is at least 15 years old. This was what, 04, 05? Yeah, this was 04, so this is 15 years old. So maybe all Steelbooks will do that in the future. Who knows? Now, if you've been following the series, Doom 3 was an impossible port that was put onto the Xbox original, and it runs pretty damn well, I must say. And even to this day, still looks pretty good on the old girl. But another one that was pretty breathtaking at the time was old Half-Life 2. What an amazing game! I've only ever played this on my PC all the way through, twice actually. I would like to go back and play it on the Xbox. It doesn't run at 60, it runs at 30 frames a second. But you know, it still actually looks pretty good. And you know, for older games, 30 frames a second doesn't really bother me that much, because like I know in my brain I'm playing an older game and it's not going to run great. And 60 wasn't really a thing for games back in the day. It was on like really old retro games on like tube TVs, and then Nintendo has always kind of tried to keep 60 frames a second, but there was just no feasible way they could have got this to run at 60. So it runs pretty decently, and it's an amazing game, obviously. And it is a console exclusive to the original Xbox. It is obviously available on PC, but if you want to play it on a console, you're going to need to do that on the original Xbox. Now here is another expansion to a game that is not exclusive, but the expansion is console-wise exclusive to the original Xbox, and that being Hunter the Reckoning Redeemer. So Hunter the Reckoning is available on the GameCube and the PS2, and then Redeemer is only on the PC and the Xbox. However, I don't even think these games are on Steam at all, and I think you'd have to have like an old computer and find a physical copy of them to play them. These are, I don't really know how to describe these games. They're kind of like, I honestly don't know how to describe them. They're medieval, but then they're not, and then it's like a hack and slash, and then it's a very interesting game and interesting series. I'm looking for the first one for the Xbox. I never see it for some reason. I don't think it's rare or anything, but I never actually see it. And but yeah, this is it's an expansion. I mean, this was back in the day when expansions were not just suits of armor and like a couple multiplayer levels. This was like a legit expansion, but it was like meaty enough to where they felt like it deserved a physical release, and you got some content behind it. Alright, now we're jumping into the eyes here. So here's one that I do believe is actually pretty rare for the Xbox. It is a full-up exclusive to the Xbox. You're not going to play this game anywhere else. 2003 and then 2005 and 2006 can all be had on the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, which are uncommon games. However, IHRA Motorsports Drag Racing 2004 is a full-up console exclusive to the original Xbox, made by Bethesda of all people. Not a game that I would go out of my way to play. Like if this had tuner cars and European cars and Japanese cars and what have you and all that stuff, and you could hop those up, and muscle cars and that kind of stuff, that'd be pretty cool. It has like NASCARs and then funny cars and like rocket cars and that kind of stuff. I'm not going to say it's a terrible game, but definitely not for me. I mean, I am a car guy, but not into those kind of cars. I'm more or less into just normal people cars that you can make fast, not just actual fast cars. But this isn't exclusive to the original Xbox. Not a terrible game, but not for me. Next up, we have IndyCar Series 2005. So this is exclusive to the original Xbox. This one actually took me some time to find. This is a pretty good looking game for the original Xbox. It does not run in 480p though, but it does actually look really well for a 480i game, and even really just for an Xbox game in general, it looks pretty damn good. with that being said, you're obviously just rendering cars, so, and Indy cars at that, so there's really not a whole lot to them. But they're very sleek looking, and it's a very smooth running game, very nice game. The crowds kind of look crappy in this game, I will admit that. But let's check out some gameplay of this one.
That was your best lap so far.
Alright, so that's IndyCar Series 2005. Not a terrible game. Now, Sega released a lot of games for the original Xbox. They were really close-knit with the Xbox back in the day. I would argue that they were also pretty close with Nintendo back in the day, being they gave Nintendo their mascot and not Xbox, but that's just me. However, they did give Xbox pretty much everything else, so this being another one, and this one is never talked about. Don't know why, but this is an interesting enough game. This is Iron Phoenix, made and published by Sega. That's a good looking game, runs in 480p. I don't know much about this, but I now actually kind of want to play this and really enjoy this game. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever played this game. Alright, so next up we have Inside Pitch 2003. Now, if you're not aware, I went on this endeavor of getting the full original Xbox exclusive set with my cousin Nico. He's appeared on the channel many times. He has about, I would say, 96% of the exclusives at this point. I think he's missing 8 to 10 of them. However, this is one that he's still missing. We found this at a random hole-in-the-wall bookstore that happened to sell games all the way in Western Maryland. We randomly was like, let's go check out that store, see if they got games. It was like a pawn shop bookstore kind of weird thing. But either way, we're both reaching for the game. We both touch it literally at the same time, no joke. And he just looks at me dead in the eyes. It's mine. No, it's mine. And then I was like, who's closer to the list? And he's like, you. So he ended up, giving it to me because obviously I'm making the videos about this and he's not. But I very much appreciate that he let me get it. And the case isn't in the greatest shape, but it is a exclusive for the Xbox. This was actually made by Microsoft themselves. All right, so I paid $290 for this, and that was $325, 2000, and it doesn't actually say the last digit, but I'm gonna guess 2017 would be my guess when I bought this. This was called Wonderbook Video Inc. is where we bought that from. Albeit a baseball game, and I'm not super into sports, period, or in video game form, unless it's Mario or Sonic stuff, but decent enough game. I mean, Microsoft made this, so Microsoft, back in the day, knew how to make a good game. So check this one out if you're into baseball. This is a full-up, only going to be played on Xbox kind of game. Oof. This one took... Ooh, we got double holographic covers coming up. If you're not subscribed to the channel, you don't know that I love holographic covers, but you do now. Alright, so this one I also found with my cousin. It was in the back of this store that he found, and it was on the wall, like on a nice shelf, displaying all the higher priced games. And I've known about this series, and then when I bought this, I played the original one for the Dreamcast, so you might know what it is. And I saw this, and this most of the time when you find this, it's going to come in a combo pack with a Star Wars game, and that being Jet Set Radio Future. This is the standalone version, so as you can see, it is just the normal copy. This is pretty uncommon. I've only ever seen one of these. It's at least uncommon in my area, I will say that. It might not be, but I've only ever seen the one. It's full-on holographic. I love that. This game is amazing. And if you don't know about Jet Set Radio Future, let's jump in and check out some gameplay.
Yeah, this is DJ Professor K, baby, the master of mayhem, know what I'm saying? Bring you another Tokyo Underground pirate radio broadcast from Jet Set Radio. I'm gonna bust into your head through your cute little ears and blow your mind with my sexy voice and out-of-sight sounds. Those of you prone to nosebleeds should keep those tissues handy, suckers.
Alright, so that's Jet Set Radio Future. Are we ever going to get another one? It's looking pretty bleak. Sega has been quoted that they want to jump back into some of their older franchises. They are giving us Panzer Dragoon again. I'm very excited for that. And it's also now confirmed that we're getting a physical release of that, so I'm pretty excited for that. Are we going to get, a Crazy Taxi 4? Are we going to get more Panzer Dragoons and Phantasy Stars? We are getting that, actually, thanks to Microsoft. Good on you, Microsoft. I hope Sega has turned a leaf and really brings back some of their old IPs, because the two of them, Nintendo and Sega, are really the only people that have that rich, lush history of IPs that they can just really pick on for years and just make amazing games. But let's keep going on the list. Another holographic game here. This is Jade Empire Limited Edition. Holographic game. Love those. It probably stems from me being one of the original Pokemon. Pokemon came out when I was 9, so I used to call them the shinies. Obviously, they're holographics, but that's probably where my holographic love stems from, is from Pokemon. But really great game here. This is a BioWare game. BioWare really was supportive of the original Xbox back in the day, and this is a game. I'm not going to say hidden gem. And I'm not going to. This is definitely not a rare game. You'll be able to easily find this. However, not a lot of people reminisce and talk about this game anymore. This was very unique. It was Japanese martial arts RPG, and it's just an amazing experience. And it deals with like mythology, and just such a creative, fun game. Back when BioWare wasn't owned by EA and had the creative ability to make fun games instead of just being forced to make Mass Effect games. And check out Jade Empire. I really genuinely think that whether you play it on PC or the Xbox, or you can actually play this on the Xbox One and they enhanced it, so that's the best way you're going to play the game, at least visually. Just definitely play this game if you get the chance. I mean, you can find this for like $5 or less, complete in box, so I cannot recommend this one enough. I really can't. Alright guys, we're getting down to the last nitty gritty of the games here, so we're jumping into the Ks now. Now, here's a cool one that I've been kind of dying to talk about. I've never heard anybody talk about this game. This game is damn uncommon to find. I will say that. Being nobody talks about it, you're going to get it cheap. That's what I love about the original Xbox. Still to this day, at the end of 2019, collecting for the original Xbox is cheap as hell. Most games can be had for under $15. This is the greatest system to collect for, at least as of 2019, maybe into 2020. It'll still be very collectible to get as many of the games as you want. You go into the store, there's nobody ever looking at Xbox games, ever. And I mean that. And it's such a wonderful system too, because all the games look really well, they're really polished, and they run well. But what a unique experience this one is. This is Kabuki Warriors. So this is a really crazy fighting game, Japanese, Asian inspired, Kabuki inspired. And the visuals for this game are very stunning. Let's check out some gameplay. So I will say this: it's not the greatest game I've ever played, but visually, it's a very unique game. It's a unique experience. The gameplay is not the greatest, but if you find this for $5 and you have one of your bros over and you're just drinking some beers, having fun, you pop this in, you're gonna have some fun with it. I mean that. I played it with my cousin. We had a good bit of fun with it, and it's just a unique experience that you're only gonna get on the Xbox. This is a true exclusive to the Xbox, and it's pretty fun. It's worth the $5 you're gonna pay for it. I will say that. Now the next one is a double feature. I don't actually know which one of these is the first one though. Let me see real quick. This is 2005 and this one's 2004. Okay, so this is the first one. This is Kingdom Under Fire: The Crusader, and then Kingdom Under Fire: Heroes. And then there's a third game on the Xbox 360 which is exclusive. One of the few franchises that actually carried over from the original Xbox to the 360 as far as exclusives go. Not many did. You didn't see any of the Mech Assaults or Blood Wakes or Brute Forces, Crimson Skies. I could go on forever about all these IPs that Microsoft left behind on the original Xbox. But I won't, because we're talking about HIJK and L. So the Kingdom Under Fire games, these kind of play like the Warrior games. The Dynasty Warrior games, and you're in a big open battlefield and you're just hacking and slashing a lot of guys, and visually very good looking games, and the 360 game looks even better, obviously. Both fantastic games in their own right. I'm kind of into the Dynasty Warrior games, but really only because of Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, and the Gundam Warrior games. Really just because I love those franchises is probably why I like them. These are kind of, these are good. This would be like a good summer game to play if you just pull it off the shelf and you just need something to play to figure out until you play it. You find that next big release that you want to play. This is what this kind of game is for, in my opinion. They're fun to just pick up and play is what I'm getting at. Again, both these are like $5 a pop, so you can get these cheap. These are not rare at all. I see these all the time. All right, so this next game here is had some pretty big controversy back in the day, and my good buddy over at Segalicious, aka now Virtua Bros. It's two brothers, and they run that channel. They do a lot of Sega content, and they're really big into fighting games and Shenmue. He does an amazing series that I really love called the Pet Projects. I think there's only 3 or 4 episodes in it. There's a 2 Human episode. There's a Devil's Third episode. There's a I want to say a Legacy of Kain video, and there's also one on this one. This is Kokuto Kojin. Now, he's probably cringing at the way I said that because there's a lot of misnomers about how you actually pronounce that, but in my opinion it would be Kokuto Kojin.
Kokuto Chojin?
Kokuto Chojin.
Yeah, Kokuto Chojin.
Kokuto Chojin, Back Alley Brutal.
It's actually Kokojin.
Kokojin, yeah.
What did you say, punk?
Kokuto Chojin.
Back Alley Brutal is what the name of this game is, and yeah. So this has some Arabic music in it, and I actually don't even want to play any gameplay on my channel because I don't need any strikes because I don't have any yet. So if you want to find some gameplay, just kind of YouTube it from somebody else. But this is a straight up Back Alley Brutal game. It's a fighting game. It's different. It's a straight up exclusive made by Microsoft, or at least published by Microsoft. It was made by Dream Publishing and then published by Microsoft. Which is weird because their name's publishing, but they don't publish games. But either way, Kokuto Kojin, fighting game, only on the Xbox. Decent enough game. I believe there actually is 2 variants of this game, so I might even have the one that is, taking the music out of the game. Because I know they did a reprint of this without the music in there. So I don't actually know which version I have. It would probably be very difficult to figure it out because I don't know what music is the offensive music. I'm not really going to find out. But yeah, so it's a pretty decent fighting game. You can have some fun with this. You're going to find this at every game store. Very fun game. Definitely a good pickup and playing fighting game with with a buddy or whatever. And check out some gameplay of that if you're curious about it. Now here's another fighting game. This is exclusive to the original Xbox. This is Kung Fu Chaos.
Action fight stunt! Throw everything!
after watching that little snippet of gameplay here, Kung Fu Chaos is, whereas PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale was PlayStation Smash Bros., this was Microsoft's attempt at making a Smash Bros. Game. I think, and this is just me, that Microsoft could bring this franchise back, and now that they have 20 years under their belt of characters and lore and this and that, they could add in Master Chief and Marcus Phoenix and the Brute Force guy and the Crimson Sky guy. They could add in the original Fable guy. They could add in the villain from the Fable series. They could just add in so many characters, and then they could have their own cool little fighting game, like 4-player fighting game, and then they could make it like an Xbox Live game. I just really would like to see Xbox delve into their original IPs that they had on both their prior systems, but they just don't seem concerned with doing that. Much like EA, where they don't want to re-release old stuff, Microsoft really doesn't want to delve back into their old IPs, and I don't really know why, but definitely a fun game right here. Again, you're going to find this at every game store, and it's going to be under $5, CIB. Really great game. Definitely recommend this one. Okay, this one gets a hard maybe on a recommendation to actually play it. This is Knight's Apprentice Memorex Adventure. So this is exclusive to the original Xbox. Visually, not a terrible looking game. It's a platformer, hack and slash. It does support the 480p. It's nothing special, is the best way I can put it. This is just your straight up average game. It's a solid 6.5, so I mean, it plays well, but there's nothing special about it. But I mean, if you're really into platformers and you really like the original Xbox, I can definitely recommend grabbing this game. But there's nothing special to this game, I will say that. Now here's a cool one. Earlier in the episode I mentioned that I'm not really into sports games. However, golf games kind of have an exception for me because I don't even really like golf in real life. I've only ever played it a handful of times, and then I've obviously gone to the range to do some hitting of golf balls and stuff. But I've never actually really played golf like in a serious capacity. But I like playing the games. This is Lynx 2004. This is a XSN game. That, again, is something that Microsoft could bring back. And being that everyone kind of hates EA now, Microsoft really could make a big comeback if they were to do that, because then they would have exclusives and they'd have good sports games. So XSN was Extreme Sports Network sports games, and it was a Microsoft owned and operated thing, and they made the games and yada yada yada, which is weird because it doesn't actually say only on Xbox here, but this is only on the Xbox. It's Lynx 2004. What else is there to say? It's a decent enough golf game. Still actually looks visibly not terrible to this day. Alright, we're getting down to the last two here, guys. This is Loons, The Fight for Fame, Looney Tunes game. This is a I don't actually know, so let's jump into some gameplay and find out.
The scriptwriter's done some last-minute changes to this here scene. So who's a gonna read it? You play the part and you takes your chance if and you want to be a star.
Who wrote this? I'm gonna file a grievance.
Cut! I said cut! This thing here is a prop. It's a big budget scene where you can earn a lot of star quality. It looks different from the other stuff, don't it? That's so's you can recognize when it's ready to go. Sometimes it'll let you have control and you can do some crazy stuff. Try moving around and pressing fire.
Suffering slime attack! Oh, that's much better. Splendid. Special even.
This here table has magical power. Jump on top and take it first.
Okay, so this is sort of a Looney Tunes action platformer fighting, sort of kind of just whatever it is kind of game. Looks decent enough. I will say that this is on the more uncommon side. This was one of the last probably 20 or 30 games that I got out of the set, and it definitely took me a long time to find this one, so if you see it, I would grab it. Not a terrible game, not the greatest game. Would I recommend it? Yeah. If the gameplay looks good to you, give it a shot. Alright guys, the last game here. If you're into horror games, if you're into shooters, you're going to like this one. This is Land of the Dead, Road to Fiddler's Green. So this is a Land of the Dead game. Pretty fun game. If you're into Land of the Dead, then you'll definitely like this. This is a pricier title. I'm talking $15 to $20, not super expensive, but pricier when you're talking about Xbox collecting. Definitely a fun game. Visually still a really good looking game. You can get this on the PC. I don't know about Steam, but it is available on the PC way back in the day, so you might have to track down a physical copy. But either way, you can play it on the Xbox. And this is pretty plentiful. I see this pretty often, so it's not even in the uncommon range, just normal range of finding a game. Pretty solid game. Definitely worth picking it up and playing it. I will say that. So this is H, I, J, K, and L. All on the original Xbox. These are all the exclusives for those letters. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something new. And if you did, be sure to leave a comment down below. Smack that like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out for now, guys. Till next time.
Come here, you mother...